I love the nightlife. I love to boogie on the disco. Oh yeah. Oh, um. Hey everybody. Welcome to Popular Unknown Paintball Live. Man, I'm glad to be back on. I know last week was my first show back on now that I've fixed the internet, but I just tonight is my first real show back. This is what Popular Unknown Podcast is supposed to Popular Unknown Paintball Podcast. Jesus, I pulled a Fred Schultz there. Pardon me. Anyway, this is what the Popular Unknown Paintball Podcast is all supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about stories with iconic people. Actually, it doesn't even have to be iconic people. I just want great paintball stories. And I've got somebody tonight that is just gonna be fantastic. I've got Boogie on all. If you guys don't know who Boogie is, you're gonna learn. So, but before we get into that, I got a couple things I got to cover first. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors. They haven't been thanked in a long time, and they need to be. So, first and foremost, shout out to Caesar and Ultra Silk. I love this stuff, and it's amazing. Allie Remembered Foundation, because what can I say? They're doing really fantastic things in the sport of paintball, and they're helping a lot of people. So go to allyremember.org, check it out. It's just awesome. Jelly Ball. I can't say enough great things about Jelly Ball and all the stuff they're doing down in Houston. It's now spreading all over the United States and over the world, really. But I honestly believe that if you are looking to up your revenue at your local paintball field, go to jellyball.com and speak with the guys there, because I truly believe that it's going to save paintball, because it brings in kids that are 5 years old and up and gives them a chance to play in a very safe, fun environment. It's just great. Transfuse, haven't talked about Transfuse in a while. Steve, you're doing some pretty amazing things over there, but I'm out yet again. I know I say that every time I mention you, but you got to start sending me more stuff. This little packets is just not doing it. I love your drinks. Fruit punch, dude. I'm telling you, make fruit punch. And last but not least, we got to talk about paintball.media. It's a free magazine. So if you go to paintball.media, and you can see I write for them. So if you like my stuff, go check them out. Also, make sure you swing by paintball.media on this Patreon account, because all of the documentaries that John Amadea does, they're all uploaded there, and he's creating one every week. The most recent one is all about the Florida Annihilators, which my guest was actually on. And I have to say, I think that this episode about the Florida Annihilators is probably one of my favorite episodes of the iconic teams, because I didn't know that much about the team. And they share a whole lot of stories that normally paintballers don't talk about from back in the day. You had to be there. So I've relived a lot of my glory days just listening to the stories from these guys. So make sure you go by and check it out. I think it's about $7 a month, I think. And that gives you full access to all the content. So start at the beginning of the month and then just binge watch. It's amazing. Yeah. Oh, we got some people saying, hey, we've got what up, Steve? How you been? I've been fantastic, and I'm better now that I'm live. We got Elliot saying, hey back. And we got somebody calling me Moose. I'm not sure who that is. Could be Connor, could be Rob. I don't know why people call me Moose, but it is. Speaking of Connor, I got a video. I did. For those of you who don't know, my friend Connor lives in Australia, and he's an actual Australian veteran. And he was injured. He got better, but he wasn't fully bettered. Long story short, there was an infection, chased it around. He spent over a year in the hospital, in and out. And there were some times where we thought we were going to lose him. Funny guy. He's been on the podcast all the time. But he sent me a couple videos. So you guys got to check this out. Hold on a second. See if I can call this up here. Go over to desktop. I sort of tried to prep it. Yeah, check this out. All right, let's just add this to the stream here. How cool is this? just super excited. Good on you, Connor. And hasn't got full running to his legs yet. Got him out and then got him away. How awesome is that? So, Connor didn't give me permission to show that, but I'm showing it anyway. Connor, I'm so glad to see you're out and shooting. I think that's just absolutely amazing. So, let's see what else we got. We got Downward Flang from YouTube saying what up. We got Charles Bird saying make autocockers great again. They're always been great. That's always been. And and it was Hanson saying StreamYard wanted permission again. Yeah, you have to give people the permission a lot, buddy. And Robert Hanson, by the way, is my friend down in Chicago from Destiny Midwest. So, without further ado, I need to bring Mike on. I need to bring my guest on because I am not wasting a second that I don't have to. Mike is, in my opinion, one of the most iconic players in paintball. He's going to disagree with me. He's going to tell me, Steve, I'm just another player, yada, yada, yada. When you meet this guy, he's just the energy that he portrays, and he's been a head ref, and he's played with the Florida Annihilators. He's won championships. Like, I mean, if he had a moniker, it's been there, done that. Like, love this guy. And if he's not in the Hall of Fame already, and I don't believe he is, this guy really needs to be. So I'm just throwing that out there to the powers that be, that there are some people that need to be in, and my future guest, or my guest, is one of them. So let's bring him on. Oh, one last thing. We're having issues with his camera. So we decided to say, screw it. We're getting rid of the camera completely, and we're just going to go by voice. So you guys are going to be staring at me the whole time, but we'll be talking with Boogie. So here we go. Hey, Boogie, you with me?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Just awesome. I don't know if you heard all of the prep or not.
I did.
I am so glad to have you on the show. I can't even begin to tell you.
To let you know, they inducted me in 2019.
Perfect.
I don't know why, but they did.
I will never see an induction, so it's all good. I understand. But no, man, with everything that you've done, the ripple effect that you've done in paintball. Like, I mean, how many championship teams have you been on other than the Florida Annihilators?
Now, my career of winning championships is not the greatest in the world. I've only won a few of them, but they were with the indoor championships. That was with the Annihilators in 93.
Right.
And I had to wait to 1997 to win the Amateur World Cup with Team Lockout from New York.
Right.
I got a fantastic week with those guys. It was one of the best weeks of my life in paintball. Then I had to wait all the way to 2008 to win the Masters at the World Cup with a team called Draxis All-Stars.
Right.
What they consisted of was a gentleman by the name of Eric Callender from New York.
Yep.
He played with, I think, GZ Silver and a lot of the New York teams, Hellhounds and stuff like that up there. Very popular gentleman. Then it was a guy named Frank who he was part of the Tauntauns from France. I think he was one of their original members, and I don't know if he had anything else to do with Laurent and all those guys over there in Sup-Air. And then we had 4 Norwegian gentlemen that played for Oslo. Was it Menace? All I know is that Pete Ulstig coached these guys and played with them over there in Europe, I think. And they were very, very good. And we played in Florida, and it was October. The temperatures dropped down a little bit into the 50s. And a lot of us, Florida guys, and Eric, I'm not sure how well he does if he plays much in the cold and stuff, probably does being in New York. But a lot of people in the mass, were breaking paint and stuff. Not these Norwegian guys. They had these halos that were a super soft push. and whatever Eclipse guns, I can't remember. I knew it was an Eclipse gun, but
Right.
they shot those, and man, they never missed a beat. Even
Right.
though they did shoot me a half a dozen times during that tournament, because that was back in the days they released the layout a month in advance.
Right.
So I did 2-a-days. I knew I was going to be playing with these guys a month in advance. I knew my spot and I knew which side of the field I was going to go down.
Right.
So for a month, I practiced breakout drills 2 times a weekend, case of paint Saturday, case of paint Sunday.
Right.
And then by the time tournament come out, I shot my mirror and the guy going to the corner 80% of the time. 80% of the points. Yeah. So, and then what I would do is I would literally just shoot those 2 guys and run down to the corner of the field and close house. And then
Right.
when I would lean out and say, hey, come, and that was all I got out of my mouth before I ate a face full of paint from my own back center guy, not realizing that I had already run down to the other end of the field. And they kept yelling at me, you're going too fast. And I'm like, man, if they're gone in this X ball, you go. If the hole's there, you just blow it open and go for the best. But that was it. I mean, for championships, that was really it. You know, I'd won a lot of local stuff in
Right.
Florida, you know, but, you know, it's just paintball. You're having fun.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, weren't you like the head ref for the NPPL on a lot of the events?
No. I was just a referee, but I was very good at what I did.
See,
And
I seem to remember you as having the title of head ref a lot.
on the particular field that I was on, I was usually a head ref, except for the NXL. I did not take it in the NXL.
Oh, okay.
There was a gentleman named Bob Buckmeyer. He was the head referee.
Sorry, I was thinking. I meant to say MPPL. It's an alphabet soup, and I get confused a lot.
The NPPL stuff, the actual head referee of the events, I worked under Perez. What was his first name? Mr. Perez. Gosh, what was? I
There's
can't.
so many. There's a few Perez's out there right
Oh
now.
no. There's only this one Perez guy in refereeing.
Oh.
I can't remember what his first name was. Gosh, just drives me nuts. I'll think of it in about 20 minutes.
Actually, it won't take that long. One of the people watching will probably remind us. We've got, see, Frank Connell just told you it's Dan Perez.
Dan Perez, that's the gentleman.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
And we got Kevin Donaldson watching as well.
Oh,
he said to say hi. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't. But, oh, hey, if I hit this thing comments, nope, that's not it.
Nope. And Kevin just said Dan as well. So I mean, but so now when you refed, were you like a designated referee, or was that back when it was only your turn to ref, when it was like, because back in the day, as you and I both remember, when you'd run certain series, you'd have to run ref your local event and then you'd play the rest. Were you only just doing that, or were you an actual dedicated ref for a good portion of the time?
Basically, I started out doing like everybody else did. You know, it was team's time to ref. You did your refing. And as time progressed, I had a lot of times where, you know, I had some issues, you know, where, you know, shooting a guy and he wasn't coming out and couldn't get a guy over there. If I did, the guy got Jedi mind tricked, you know, and these things happened.
Right.
So, you know, but I got mad about it. So finally, I think it was like 2001, I'd had enough. And I started reffing more. And they came up with a thing. The guys that ran the Angel, Ned, and those gentlemen, Owen, they decided to do something about reffing at the time too. And they formed what was called the PRO, Professional Refereeing Organization.
Right.
Its first event was... oh gosh, what was it? Skyball 2002.
Okay.
You know, we rest from 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or whatever the hell it was, and then walked 3 blocks through the ice and snow to the hotel. It wasn't very, you know, being from Florida.
I live in Toronto, dude.
Yeah, well, it's cold up there. I live in Florida. That's why I live in Florida. It's warm. I don't have to deal with that shit. But, what were we talking about? I lost train of thought. Sorry.
It's okay. We'll just switch to the next topic. We'll just move right along, because we're gonna go squirrel on a fairly regular basis, I'm sure. one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on tonight was when I was or helping to edit. I shouldn't say editing. It's not my job per se. I mean, John Amadea and his wife, they do majority of the editing, but I help. And when I was helping with the documentary on the Florida Annihilators, there was a lot of talk about you insisting on driving this old, was it a Toyota van, Nissan van? I sent you.
No, it was a Toyota van. It was their Toyota van. I don't remember what they called it, but we called it the Lunar Cruiser.
Okay.
And this thing had a sunroof.
Right.
That we could. Oh, well, it wasn't a sunroof. They called it a moonroof. It opened up, and it was like a 4-foot by 6-foot chunk of metal that slid back. Now, 2 or 3 guys could literally stand up out the top of this thing.
Right.
Or they could be sitting in the captain's seats. I mean, when we first went to Nashville, we were all excited. There were 4 or 5 of us in the van.
Sure.
Open up the moonroof, sign pointing, going Nashville, just outside of Chattanooga, pointing for the I-24. Oh, we got to mark that. Black. Can't see anything because, we were scared somebody see us shoot and stuff. So we're leaning down. They were laying down in the back, shooting out through the moonroof, hitting the signs, marking our path all the way across.
I'd like to pause for a public safety announcement. Children, don't do this at home. This was back in the late 80s and early 90s when we were all dumb and stupid, and and police officers were much more lenient than they are now
today.
So please,
you don't want to hear what we did to Paul
don't
Bogolub.
Duplicate our stupidity from back when paintball was young. Thank you. That's a public service announcement from the Popular Unknown Paintball Podcast. We do not encourage or condone these actions. We're just laughing at them now.
Yeah, because we were young and stupid. Do you want to hear some more stupid ones?
Oh, go for it, dude.
We're coming back from practice. I think we were still Annihilators. We're coming back from Palm Beach. I'm in the Lunar Cruiser with Todd and Larry.
Now, you should clarify who Todd is.
Todd Adamson.
Yeah.
The devil himself.
Aftershock and Rage fame.
Todd. Yes.
Yeah.
And his best buddy, Larry.
Sure. Now, which was Larry again?
Larry Whitaker.
Right.
They're tight. They're still tight, I hope, these days. I see them very rarely nowadays. I don't go out much. But we were driving back from West Palm Beach. Following us in his little Honda was Paul Bolenbach. Yes, Paul Bolenbach of Social Paintball. Yes, him. He's driving, and Todd and Larry get the bright idea of, oh, we have a target behind us. We have paint. They shot his car windshield so much he had to pull over twice to refill the water in it so he could clean the paint off his windshield. That's still not the dumbest thing that we did.
Oh, yeah.
You want one more dumber?
Be my guest, my friend.
We were the early Annihilators. We were going to Miami to play against the Terminators, which was the Florida Terminators.
Okay,
this was
right.
Pete Boat. You'll probably see something on them in the future if John can dig up enough of them.
Right.
But on that team was the likes of Danny Benura, Chino Carbajal, Hector. I can't remember Hector's name. He was from Puerto Rico that he came over. I want to say maybe it was Nelson was his last name. I'm not really sure, but they were a great, fantastic team. Plenty of gentlemen from the Miami area.
Right.
Well, at the time, I-75 going from Naples to Miami, 2-lane blacktop. It was not 4 lanes and fancy like it is now. It was just a 2-lane blacktop.
Right.
With a toll booth on each end. Well, somewhere in the middle, somebody took a shot from Bob Pitts's truck at my truck. So we started speeding up. Well, they kept shooting. Well, we're doing about 100 miles an hour now. And I've got my wingman, Paul Judson, who is now leaning out the window at 100 miles an hour, shooting at Bob's truck that's right behind him, right behind us. He's shooting off, we got pump guns in the day. Paint's really expensive, so we're not going too crazy.
Right.
Well, about this time, John Shulkins in his Pepsi truck comes rolling up along the side. He's got one of those Pepsi vans. Door
Like
slides.
a legit Pepsi van?
Yeah. He's actually, I don't know if he still works for Pepsi or not, but he got me a job there driving a truck. That's where he was in the company. So, but he had one of those Pepsi delivery trucks. It
Right.
come rolling up on the side of Bob, 100 miles an hour. Door slides open. There's 4 dudes sitting in there. Blap, 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 blap. I kept out in front, so I was only catching tail fire, but we come through that next toll booth. Cars are dripping, and people do not do this. This is morons at play. And this was 1987. I think this happened.
Yeah, this was back when
stupidity was allowed. And nowadays, you do stupid shit like that, somebody's going to film it or something, and you're going to be in a whole lot of trouble.
Oh, you're going to jail.
This. Yeah. Like, no, and do not pass go. You don't get $200. You're going straight behind bars, and they will throw away the key. Yeah. But yeah, so those were the stories that you were listening to.
Yeah,
and you notice none of those stories made it into that.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, there's certain levels.
When there's a lot of stories of a lot of the shenanigans that went on back then.
Oh,
you really can't say. Here's another one. I don't know if this one was in the documentary. Right. Never use your hotel bathroom as a chronograph. We did that at the 88 NSG in Nashville at the Days. I think it was a Days Inn or something. But, we wanted to chrono our guns. So we figured, hell, we'll just set the chrono up and shoot it, and it'll hit the wall of the shower and spun, and we'll just spray it off. Well, we forgot about the misting. It was a white bathroom when we got there, and it was definitely peach when we left.
I may or may not have been involved in a gun battle down a hotel hallway. I back in the early 90s. No comment.
Yeah, no, I'd seen those. If you ever get Daryl Trent or
are we talking about the food fight?
No, you just talk to Daryl Trent and Billy Gardner about a paintball fight in the room, a gun fight in the room. Just ask him for that story.
Well, Daryl might tell me, but I don't know if the Gardner. I don't know if Adam
Billy would. Oh God, it's hilarious. Yeah, Billy and Daryl were pretty ruthless when it came to hotel shenanigans. But you know who the worst of them, who you never ever dared cross, and I saw somebody cross him one time, and it was hilarious. And that was Team Strange.
Okay.
Yeah, their B team thought they were going to man up and mess with the boys, and I told them, I said, "Don't do it. Do not do it. They are pure evil." Didn't listen to me. Yeah, well, they started getting the ice cream and all the door handles and all sorts of other little weird things kept popping up in their equipment, and like, I told you, you're gonna be dumb. You better be tough. And that is a quote by the famous Danny Benura. That's who I learned that one from.
Well, I know that the Iron Men and the Predators used to tear each other new ones every time that they were in the same city.
I haven't had a chance to see the documentary yet. I'm waiting to get paid so that.
What I'm talking about never made the documentary.
No, the Daryl Trent story. Oh God, I forgot where I was going with that. Because we were just talking about it. What were we just talking about?
Vans?
Huh?
Whose van was it anyway?
Which van?
The lunar van. Who owned it?
It was mine. Actually, it was my mother's. Yeah, the Lunar Cruiser. Oh my God. I guess this was a little later on. This is after the Annihilators. The Annihilators and the Terminators, Todd formed Rage, which by the way, was the most well-named team that was ever lived, because Rage was perfect, because they were in a rage a lot. Oh, yeah. But that van, I mean, I was working as the Benjamin Sheridan representative,
Right.
and Todd and let's see, it was Todd and a couple of the guys, Mikey Fox from the Brush Bandits and stuff. That Nucleus, I think we might have still been the Annihilators at the time, just
Sure.
before, and we went to Dallas. Well, I was with the Benjamin Sheridan rep, so I flew and got a rental car and stuff. They took the van, got like 2 speeding tickets on the way there, 3 on the way back. It was awesome. I was like, "You guys having fun? Was that a good drive?"
Now, if you're talking about the Benjamin Sheridan rep, was that John Dresser? John Dresser used to have a lot to do with PMI, right?
No,
No. Benjamin Sheridan and PMI worked together, but they weren't.
No, yeah, this was. I think
was
John was with PMI, the actual PMI marketing,
Right.
and Benjamin Sheridan was the gun manufacturer for the VM68
And the P68s and all the
P68,
Piranhas and stuff. Yeah.
PGP, that stuff.
Right.
The Piranha was actually after.
Well, the brass one was PMI.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm thinking the wrong Piranha. Yeah,
you're
thinking
right.
of
the blowback.
Yeah. I was thinking blowback. No, the pump one you're talking about. Yes, exactly.
Can you tell that I'm old school? Because I know. Oh, speaking of old school, I got to show this off while I'm thinking about it. This was something Jim Lively gave me a few months ago.
See, that's a sweet one right there.
Yeah, but check out the date.
Yep.
From Pittsburgh, PA, 1986. Yep. Thank you again, Jim. Cheers.
He's a good man. Boy, I had a lot of fun playing his Lively series around the country. Good Lord, that was some fun paintball in a lot of different places. Oh.
So if there was a team you could have played for, like if you could, like looking back, is there a team that you would have liked to have played for?
Well, there are a few that I would have liked to play for. I played for a lot of teams.
Oh, I know.
Well, basically, after I left Rage in '96.
Okay, so you were part of Rage?
Well, I drove Todd to Miami every weekend so that Rage could have their practice there. Now, and during football season, practice had to end by 12:30 because the boys had to get home to watch the Dolphins. No matter the fact that we drove 2.5 hours to get there. So, on the field at 8, start playing, boys. But, I used to drive Todd and Larry and the boys there every weekend, right. Or if we were somewhere in Florida, I was driving the van and stuff. So I got the spot to play on Rage. I played with him a couple tournaments. And when I say I played a couple tournaments with him, I was number 11.
Right.
I played the 11 hole a lot, and it was great. I have no complaints with it, even though in like the 96 New York Open, I ended up playing for East Coast Eliminators on Friday, Rage on Saturday, and who was it? Oh, Palm Beach Predators on Sunday. I don't know what kind of kickback Todd got for selling me to the several teams, but I hope it worked out for me because I got to play a shit ton of paintball.
Shout out to Fred Schultz, by the way. He just said Constant Pursuit and the Ironman had the best practical jokes against each other.
Oh yeah, they started pretty good, but did the one about Daryl and the Dallas tournament make it into the stories I was telling last time in the documentary?
I'm gonna guess no, because it's not immediately ringing a bell.
Daryl was awesome with the practical jokes, and I'll tell you a Daryl practical joke.
Somebody said Frank Connell, so did Jerry. I'm not sure who the Facebook user is because they didn't give Facebook permission to use the name, but we got somebody saying so did Jerry. I'm not sure what that was about. I'm guessing Jerry Braun, maybe.
Yeah, Jerry Braun, another really great guy. Gosh, he was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun pulling one another's leg. I mean, it was he would say some funny stuff, and I'd always say it back just because The one was when we coming back from the 2002 Toronto Skyball, and I was sitting in the thing, and Cherry was making jokes about, oh, I'll just buy these referees or something, just screwing around. He wasn't, he wasn't
Yeah,
serious.
yeah.
He's just screwing around. I'm looking at him. I'm just laughing. He starts waving his wallet around at me, and George, Jerry does pretty well for himself. So, he had a pretty thick stack, and I'm looking at it, and I'm just laughing, going, ain't worth it, Jerry. Ain't freaking worth it. I had more fun reffing those guys. It was like basically reffing to me in the pro division was cops and robbers, because the robbers were out there and they was trying to rob the other boys. It was my job as a police to stop that shit.
Yep.
And and I had people, I won't mention who, they tried.
Oh,
They
yeah.
failed, but they tried. And the thing that I always said is what goes on in the box stays in the box. Once we leave the box, I don't care what you did. Doesn't matter to me. Who gives a crap? I couldn't tell you who won half the time because I didn't pay any attention. I just paid attention to what point was going on. And you know what I mean?
Apparently, the person that said so did Jerry was a guy named Steve Cusano.
Steve, how are you, brother? Another great individual that I got to cross paths with. Oh man, all the boys are on.
A lot of people are coming out to watch your show and listen to you talk, dude. Like,
that's
you're
because I'm full of shit. I'm
just
full of shit.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I hope I don't tell too much incriminating stuff. Oh well, back to the Daryl story.
Back to the Daryl story. Yeah, because Daryl Trent's only like what, 7'8"? He doesn't scare me at all. Like, he's just like, isn't he like a prison guard now? Or like,
I don't know. Well, the Daryl Trent that I knew, all I could remember is like a brick that would run at you.
He's still that way.
Solid. I mean,
he's still that way. Just
fast.
Bad knees.
Before his knees went out, you know how fast that dude was?
Yes. I do.
Running through the anus of Mare Island. Oh my God. And he showed me how to play that stuff. It was the only plant that you could play in, hide great, and chew on it for a snack.
I'm sorry. Eat what?
Anise. It's like it tastes like licorice.
Ew.
Yeah. I like licorice. I can't help it. I'm weird. But yeah.
Yes, you are.
Anyways, we were at the Dallas Open. And this was, early 90s. And Daryl decides he's going to play a joke on the no, it wasn't the Bushwhackers. It was the California Bushmasters.
Okay.
Or I think that was what their name was. Fred, if you're still there, help me out. But anyways.
Well, there was the Bushwhackers and the Bushmasters.
It wasn't the Bushwhackers because I know Ronnie and them, and it wasn't Ronnie and them. It was the other guys. But anyways, Daryl somehow got into a room. And he started writing Ironman rules, filling up their pods and stuff with their shaving cream. Well, they come back. Daryl's trapped in the room. So he locks, he puts the security latch on, he locks the door, and they're bam, bam, bam. They're trying to get in the room, bam, bam, bam. They come to the back window. They can't get in. So he goes around. He waits until they go around to the front, try and come in the door again. And he runs over. And the window's opened a little bit, but he ripped it open and he put on a set of their camos and jumps out. Now, this courtyard was this big square, this dark square in the middle of the buildings. Well, he runs out into the dark. Well, they start coming around the building in. He lays out flat in the dark, just watching them. As watch him go back and forth along the building. As soon as they clear out, he sees one of the windows is open. Me and my good friend, Phil Baker, we're sitting there. We got the window open. We're watching the TV. We're just kind of hanging out. All of a sudden, these two hands come out of the darkness and grab the window and rip it open. And Daryl hops in and shuts the window and shuts the drapes. Hey, Daryl, how you doing, man? What's going on? Because, we're listening to all this screaming going on. We're like, what the fuck is going on out there? Anyways, he proceeds to tell us what's going on. He says, my room's just down the way. Check the hall and see if it's clear. No problem, Daryl. Walk out there. Look, you're good to go, brother. Whew. Boom, he's into his room. Not 5 minutes goes by and you hear this boom, 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 boom. Daryl, you motherfucker, we know. Oh, sorry. Daryl, we know you're in there. We know you're in there. I'm like, holy cow, they're angry. All of a sudden it goes quiet. My phone rings. Hey, what's up? It's Daryl. Are they still out there in the hallway? Hang on, let me go get a soda. I'll call you back in 2 minutes. So I walk out and I go down, get a soda. I come back. I go back to my room, call out, go, yeah, they're still out there, man. They look pretty pissed. He goes, all right, I'll call you back in a little bit. We'll check to see if the coast is clear. A little while goes on, calls back. I look out there. Yeah, Daryl, they're still there. Now it's getting a little late. We got to play the next morning. I take the phone off the hook. Next thing I hear the next day is they moved Daryl to another hotel. He couldn't stay in that hotel anymore. Now here's this thing for you. You know how they've started up the mechanical and they start doing these tournaments and they're really cool. The atmosphere is pretty good, but it's just not quite the same as it used to be. Do you know what the difference is?
We're all a little bit older and a little bit wiser.
That's one thing. The second thing is we don't all stay in the same hotels and eat in the same restaurants anymore.
This is true.
That was the magic of those events back then, because we were all hanging out off the field together. It was like a big brotherhood and stuff. And then on the field, we'd trying to kill one another. But off that field, we were just doing crazy stuff to us. Now, the water fight story with Phil, I'm pretty sure, made it into the documentary. That one had to have.
Oh, sorry, the which one?
Water fight. That was another Daryl story.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Amadea likes to keep those documentaries a lot about the facts, and there's very little of the
shenanigans.
I shouldn't say shenanigans. I was gonna go color. Like him, and he'll mention a little bit here and there.
Another famous thing that we used to do in the downtime, is chase one another around with buckets of water at those hotels. Just crush one. And there were a lot of times there were mistakes that were happening. Like me and Phil, we went and took a look at the dam that was out behind our hotel. We came back and we're looking at you can see the water running off the edges. I'm, hey, dude, they're having a water fight up there. We better be careful. He's like, we're not part of this. Don't worry about it. Get up the second floor, walking through the breezeway, coming up to the corner, and around the corner come Daryl with a bucket of water, throwing it before he saw who it was. That water was halfway out of the bucket, and Daryl, you could see it, all of a sudden recognition in Daryl's eyes, like, oh shit, this is the wrong guy. And he just doused Phil. And then we spent the next 2.5 hours chasing him and his crew around.
Well, I do agree with it, because we all used to stay at the same place. And as teams, we all used to hang out a lot more.
Yep.
Like
Son of the Beach at World Cup was unbelievable. During the 90s, to go to World Cup, and then on Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, we would all go to Son of the Beach in Old Town.
Yes.
And we packed that place. There's still, if you go to Son of the Beach, is still there. You go there and you will see all the old jerseys that are still up along the walls and stuff hanging in that place.
Yes.
You want to know what the best player about it was? First place I ever got to see somebody be tasered.
Okay, who got tasered?
I have no idea. It was some drunk dude. It wasn't anybody we knew, and all you heard was the tickety, tickety, tickety. Him jerking like a leaf was great. Best entertainment I ever had. Now, everybody knows that I'm kind of a little bit sick. I've got to take a 45-second break. I will be right back, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So for those of you who don't know, as Bogey just said, he's having some health issues. So he just needs to step away from the mic for a little bit. In the meantime, I mentioned it earlier in the show. I'm going to mention it again now that he's here. I got some videos from Connor, my good friend from Australia, who is an Australian war vet. He's been having a lot of medical issues, and he was actually in and out of the hospital. We almost lost him a couple times over the last year and a half or so, but he sent me some videos. So I got to share this one. I already shared one earlier. I'll share this one now. This one's a little bit longer, but this is Connor He's not walking yet, but this is Connor in a wheelchair, trading paint for the first time in 13 months. So if you all want, well, we've got Boogie. Let's check this out. I think this is so awesome. I think this is just the most amazing thing. Connor, if you're still watching, thank you for sharing this with me, and I'm happy to share this with everybody else. This just makes me feel good, knowing that you're back in sport event, back playing, you're still hustling. I can't wait for us to shake hands together. But I mean, seriously, guys, how awesome is that? You know? Just amazing. So.
Right on. Thank you for pausing for a moment there.
Appreciate I didn't pause. The podcast went on. You just gave me the perfect moment to show another video of Connor.
Nice. Glad that worked out. Oh, now I see the comments. I found it.
Welcome to 2022, dude.
Oh, I keep, hey, technology. It's a crazy thing.
So,
I never did answer your question of one of the teams that I would have liked to play with.
Okay, go for it.
Well, I'm sure everybody would have loved to play for Shock. They were
Aftershock?
Yeah, Aftershock. My God, what a team that was. Such crazy individuals. They were awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Avalanche was another one.
Yes. Like, it depends on what era we're talking about. Like,
I don't know. I saw them through, like when Chris was playing with them. And yes. I also saw them when Frank was playing with them. I mean, Ed always tried to put out the best product as always that he could. And my God, some of the individuals he got playing together, that was some good stuff to see. Now, like, teams that I like to play with, I would also say like Dynasty. But I actually got to play with them, and I have video evidence of it. That happened 2009, the practice weekend. We were playing in Central Florida Paintball, which was a paintball haven for practicing for World Cup, the weekend and week before. And the week before, Dynasty was playing the Russians. And I talked my way onto a point.
Nice. And in a practice.
In a practice. We were practice for the World Cup, and managed to shoot Justin Rabikoff off the field. Got luckier than shit, but it was just the way it happened. Played behind Alex. They freaked out because they'd seen me ref. Everybody'd seen me ref. A lot of people had seen me ref.
Right.
But they didn't know that I played a lot. And like at that particular time, I had started in 2006 every Sunday going to my local paintball field, which was Oasis Park, and now Extreme Rage at Fort Myers. I can't remember if there was another incantation in between there. But anyways, I would go out there and shoot a case of paint at barrels, just barrels. And what I was doing is the grass was waist high. But I had taken a lawnmower and I had cut lanes. Like it went from back center to right and left corner. Then halfway up, there was a lane cut in the grass that went up and out. The different moves that you would go to, going where you'd run halfway and then go up to a bunker, or you'd run all the way out to the corner shooting, or there was a lane that went all the way up to the X and then a little right left where you'd go to the right or left. And then I had barrels set up, representing the snake players, the 40 players, the 30 players, the home players. And I would practice running and gunning every Sunday a case of paint. So by 2009, my gun skills were pretty good. My speed and stuff was deteriorating a little bit, but I made up for it in accuracy on the move. And got pretty good at it. I mean, and that's what it takes these days and age. You want to get anywhere. You got to work at your, it was, back in the day in the 90s and stuff, shut up on Sunday and you played a little bit.
Right.
You played with your team, you go play other teams, or you play whoever's at the park. And that's why, as long as you showed up every Sunday and did your thing, you were pretty good in the game. But
Right.
man, you want to compete these days, you got to work on your cardio. You got to work on your gun skills. And the one thing is that gun skills are something that a lot of people neglect. They still think just going out and grinding 30 points in a day is getting a good day of work in. You got to work on the fundamentals.
Yes.
Basically, and the fundamentals of our sport is snap shooting and running and gunning.
Absolutely.
And you got to work those two little things. It's just like in basketball, free throws and doing, your perimeter shooting, or a batting practice for baseball. It's these kinds of things. But
I forgot. I had a question. I lost it, dude. By the way, for the record, I'm enjoying this show more than I can say. Like, this is.
well, I'm glad I'm entertaining.
This is fantastic. Well, I wouldn't say you're entertaining per se. I'm enjoying getting to know you. Like, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind our paths must have crossed once or twice over the years, but I wouldn't say that I've ever met you, know you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now the refereeing thing, once I decided to referee, then they formed that PRO. Well, at the time there ended up being the split between the PSP and the NPPL at Vegas.
Right. Yes.
And then the next year they formed 2003. That's when the NXL formed.
Right.
Well, also at that same time, Rosie was doing Robert Rosie. Everybody knows him as Rosie from Ground Zero and Master Blasters fame. What would happen is he would show up a week before, start putting 26-foot poles in the ground, hanging all the net, getting all the staging areas ready and stuff, and basically laying out the spots where Sup Air would come in, and then they would put the fields on the inside of the field.
Right.
Well, I joined that crew, and I used to help Rosie set the fields up, and then I would ref them. Then I would take them all down. I was there, 2.5, 3 weeks for each event. And that was for 2003 and the 2004. And I don't think I did it past 2004. I think that was my last. And then 2005 and 6, I just stuck to just going to the darn thing and reffing it and then getting out of there.
Right.
Because
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, you get a little burnt out after a while. I mean, if you do one or the other, it's kind of, it's all right. But if you do both, what a mess.
That's something I ought to do. Is I ought to get you and Rosie on in the same show.
I haven't spoken to Rosie since I think 2006. We've chatted a little bit on Facebook, but we haven't got together.
Check this out.
Nice.
Signed by Rosie and Kevin Donaldson at ICC this year, last year.
Now there's one event that I really wished I was well enough to go to, was to see Tim and do that thing. I was so proud of Tim when he started get the mechanical thing going on and stuff, and the way it took off and the way he basically revitalized it to where, a lot of the older methods we used to came back into play again, because now they're playing on hyperball again. They're playing out in the woods again, kind of in the woods again, and, and the concept fields, but, it's paintball, that just not the rats in a box on the little bouncy ball thing. Because there's only, Sup Air has done a great job over the years changing the shapes and trying to, change it up so to change the game a little bit. But, there's only so much you can do with those props in that square area.
Right.
Now, hyperball and stuff adds a different element to it. There's a lot of, it's crazy.
And I'd like to throw out there too, that I love paintball, and please don't, anybody out there watching, please don't think I'm judging. Well, I kind of am, but I'm like, I love the sport, and I'll play any way you want me to play. But I really think that paintball lost a bit when they got rid of flags. Like there's something about having to, like, the center ball push and having to go there. It adds an extra layer of challenge, and it adds a extra layer of strategy. So having to run the flag back or grab it from the middle and getting points for flag pulls and stuff, like, I really think that that is essential to the game. And just going to slapping the buzzer, I really think you've taken levels off it and made it less fun. That's just I that's just a personal opinion of mine. I'm not saying that the NXL isn't great, and I'm not saying you need to change what you're doing, but I just find it better and more fun when there's a flag on the field and there's points attached to that flag.
When you're running an event like the NXL and you've got those numbers of teams and you're trying to pump that number of games out during the day to get, to finish before dark on Sunday,
Right.
you need to streamline.
And I don't disagree.
Yep, and that's and it streamlines a lot of things. There's a lot of things that aren't missed, flag pulls, who got what first, because sometimes there's, and I'm sure there's guys out there, you're playing that 5-man, and the refs get confused. The teams even sometimes get confused. Who the hell got the flag first, or did what to do with the flag once the flag bearer gets shot, or just starting the game and having the flag back at the middle and not sitting at one of the bases. That happened in the NXL back in the days a few times. I can remember a couple times putting my little ref flag on there going, there it is, boys, go get it. Oh, the ref flags, they have their little soft little weights in them, or a little sand with a zip tie. You know what I had in mind?
Fishing leads?
No, miniature cue balls. The miniature billiard balls for the miniature pool tables. Yeah, a couple of those. Yeah, you mess with me, I just grab my flag and I'll beat you with that little sucker. Who did? Oh, that was freaking Seagal. What movie was that? Where he was knocking everybody. He wraps a couple billiard balls in a kerchief and starts beating the crap out of people with it.
I've seen that in various movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Same concept. Yeah. I was out there fully armed. I have got banned in 2003 from bringing water bottles with me if I laid down in the field.
Sorry, run that by me again.
I was not allowed to have water bottles with water or anything in them when I was laying down in the field reffing during a point.
Okay.
Instead of getting up one time, I took my half full water bottle and cranked somebody in the side of the head with it, telling him, get out of here. I forget who it was, but yeah, I cranked them right in the side of the head. Not only did they get shot, but they got bludgeoned by the referee.
And somebody said Out for Justice is the Steven Seagal movie you're talking about.
Oh, is that one? Okay. I believe
I don't know for sure. I know I've seen it, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
I'm pretty sure that was the one. Where is Richie? That's what he kept screaming.
So getting back, changing topics kind of slightly. We'll get away from actually beating people. I asked you. Okay, actually, you know what? A lot of people wouldn't know when you started playing. When did you start playing?
Late fall 1982. That means coming up this fall, sometime in November or December, will be my 40th year in paintball.
That's a long time.
I've had a lot of fun. Oh my God.
So I'm assuming that Nell Spots was the first gun you used?
Yep, I still have it. Good
old
number 6 from the original field that was down here. That's what they call it. I call it number 6 is because that was what they engraved. It was their marker, number 6.
Right.
And the reason that I bought that particular marker from them. Well, actually, I didn't buy them. I actually bought the business. They ran from my good buddy, Greg Bachman, who's still with us today. He started paintball down here in Fort Myers.
Right.
And in the end of 1983, he was moving on to something else. So I actually bought the field from him.
Okay.
And in 1984, I was running a paintball field here in Fort Myers. I got all the way till June, and the rains opened up. The field went under about 3.5 feet of water. And in the time that it was closed, I couldn't really do anything with it. And I sold it to a friend of mine called Keith Warner, who is still running that game from his house he doesn't use the same equipment anymore, but he's still running the business that I sold him back in 85.
That's awesome.
Yep. And the thing is about Keith that makes him kind of special, in this day and age, he still is running limited paintball for new players. They go out there with 30 rounds and they bang away with each, when he gets his fee for playing, that includes their paint, 30 rounds a game. They usually get about 8 games a day in. And, he just runs it in the fields and stuff around his house.
That's awesome.
You want to know what the name of his field was? Well, I forget. It's Paintball Parties now, but you know what it was called before?
I have no idea, but
Trespassers Paintball.
Is that what you named it?
No, he named it. He is a very cheeky gentleman. He's a straight shooter. He tells it straight like it is.
Awesome. All right. So all the time that you've spent playing paintball, there's got to be favorite play. You have to have developed some favorite players that either to play with or against, or just plain out watch. Like for me, I have to say my favorite paintball player is to watch is Chris Lasoya. Like even to this day, when I watched him playing at ICC, he still amazes me what he can pull off. He's just got, they're big and they're brass and those balls go clang. You know what I mean? Like,
Chris is an awesome man. I have known him for a long, long time. He is a great individual, but the guy that every time I watch him, I was like, Jesus, man, really? Todd Adams.
Really? I'm not amazed. I'm not surprised. I'm just.
Have you ever seen the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer?
No,
the chess movie. It's about this kid. It's a chess prodigy. Right. And in it, they say, just like Bobby Fischer, he sees the chessboard unlike others. He sees it as art. That's Todd. Todd, he can walk onto the field, take a look around, and in 5 minutes go, you need to go there, you need to go there, you need to go there. You shoot this way, you shoot this way. If we do that, we win. Unbelievable. Also, Todd got pretty much everybody in paintball shooting from the hip to the right, looking around the bunker to the left. He was
sorry. Run this by me again.
His gun is at his hip. He is holding a lane, holding the corner guy in, and he's checking out the rest of the field from the other side of the bunker. Not even looking at the dude that he's shooting at. He knows he's got that guy pinned if he's got that gun locked in right on that spot.
Okay.
He's got the guy locked in. It gives him a chance to peek, read the field. Believe me, there are many videos. If you look for old videos, you'll see him. The guy is shooting from his hip. And the thing is if the dude who he's shooting at peeks, he hits this freaking guy. Don't ask me. It's like, how the hell did you do that? And the other thing is Todd today, if you see Todd today, he is in 10 times better shape than he was back in the 90s.
Okay.
Do you know who Greg Pauly is, right?
Yeah, he's a heavyset guy. He's the coach of AC Dallas, I believe.
Yep.
Or at least he was there for a while. I don't know. There was some time where he switched teams and stuff, but I believe Pauly's with AC Dallas.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Now, Greg, he's a pretty big guy. When he was a little younger, he was still pretty hefty. Todd was as hefty as he was when Greg was younger.
Right.
And both of them were pretty heavy. Todd always called it his bounce factor.
Yes.
And but when he got married, Tammy,
Yeah.
bless her soul, what a woman she is. She's a great lady. Anyways, she she got him exercising and stuff. He came to me one time. He says, "I think she's trying to kill me. I bicycled 20 miles." But no, bless her heart, she's got him in the best shape of his life. The two of them are just fantastic. A great addition to our sport. A great people that have been driving our sport for many, many years.
Well, she did the femme fatales and
That was her team that she started
yeah,
way back in the day. Yeah.
and then just brought it back until
Yep.
she hurt her ankle recently.
Did she hurt her ankle?
Yeah, she had to get an
I
operation, so she's been sidelined for a few months, but
didn't know about that. I hope she gets well soon and gets back out there because she's really great. A lot of fun to hang out and stuff. Should see her ride the bull at Old Town. I don't think she'll do it anymore, but she did it back in the day. Very good. Very good.
well, I know I was in Old Town, not this World Cup, but the World Cup past. I've been in Old Town twice now, and I love it there. I just love it there.
Old Town is crazy. It's and
Especially the go-karts.
now
What the hell?
check this out. The World Cups that were held before Disney and
Right.
before the cattle fields off of Plantation down the road, if you go in Old Town and you walk towards the back where the condominiums butt up to the backside of Old Town parking lot there,
Right.
that was where the paintball field used to be.
Cool.
We held the World Cup right there. Now, right behind there is what is called Celebration Suites.
Right?
I doubt you stayed there.
I have not.
Okay, back in the day, the entire paintball tournament stayed there because you could walk from your hotel room to the field. There were there was a team called Headbangers from Sarasota, Florida. They brought
Okay.
golf carts so that they would drive from their room to the field and back.
Nice.
And then people got the idea. Some people towards the end, before we left there, were renting golf carts to drive back and forth.
That's awesome.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to give you another video clip break. Give me a second. I will be right back.
All right. Oh, I don't know about the rest of you, but this is just awesome. Like, just absolutely amazing. This is what I want my podcast to be about. I want to share stories, and I want to just relive moments with some of the greatest people. I know maybe Boogie, you're going to watch this after the fact and you're going to come back. I can't thank you enough for being on this show. I really can't. And I can't wait to meet you traveling, because I'm hoping to be down in Florida in the next few months to come to visit and paintball and stuff. But man, this show is great. Just great. So now, while he's taking a break, is there anybody out there watching that has any questions that can fire out? I'm just taking a look at all the comments here. And somebody said 37 years for me. I do apologize, Facebook user. You didn't give permission to use your name, so I am not sure who you are. And we got, yeah, I am just super excited, and I'm enjoying this 100%. So, unfortunately, I've already showed you the two videos that Connor sent me from Australia. But yeah, and for those of you that are just watching, I just saw the names jump up. Boogie had to step aside. Oh, and Boogie's back. So
I am back. Yes. Hey.
I had to step away I couldn't show any more videos because I only had the two little ones. So.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, don't be. I'm having a great time. Like, this is just
good.
the best. All right, so I asked you who you liked watching. You said Todd Adamson. You like anybody else jump out in your head?
Well, back in the day, in 2004, I was asked to go to Europe and be the head referee for the EXL, the European X-Ball League, which was the European version of the NXL.
Right.
and I ran into this group of kids from Russia.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, Fedorov, Mishka. They had this one
Legion.
guy, the Legion, yes. And oh my God. Now you have to remember back in those days, we're playing 25-minute halves. There is no score cap.
Right.
Their average margin of win in the EXL during the 2004 season was around 17 points. The crowd would go nuts if the other team scored a point. And the other team, they're high-fiving and they're having a great time now that they scored a point on those guys. It was unbelievable. They were the first team that had dossiers on all the players. They were taking notes and video of the opposition. When they showed up, not only did they have the team and the support crews in the pits, they had a couple of dudes up in the bleachers. And those dudes all day, what they did were taking notes on their team, who's killing, who's doing what, who's getting shot from where, videotaping, and doing scouting reports on all the teams that they were playing. Right. It was unbelievable. And their training routine, they're the ones that basically revolutionized the sport on how you prepare for a tournament. Yes. It was just nuts what they were doing. And they came in to the U.S. just swinging hard.
Oh, yeah.
And when I talked to them over there, I gave them one bit of advice in England before they came to the United States. I said, look, you're going to have some rough times. The refs, you're going to have calls not go your way. There might be a shady thing that might happen to you or nothing. Block it all out. You focus on each individual point. The point before doesn't exist. The only thing that matters at that point in time is the point you're playing. You win the point you're playing every time you play it. And anything that goes wrong, bad, flush it out the window. You talk about it later. You just focus on the point. And it's funny, I see Krill, as the years went on, I would see Krill or Mishka. And I don't know if they'll still recognize it these days, but if I point to my temple and say focus, they just break out into the biggest freaking smile because they know exactly, they're thinking back to the speech that I gave them.
Right.
But what a great, when back watching, it wasn't, Fedorov is a great player, but yes, the one that caught my eye the most in those days was Mishka. Oh my God, what an animal through the snake. You think, I call him Sasha. You guys, some people called him, what were they called him? Oh God, I can't remember. But Alexander with the B, Birkenakov or
I'll be honest, I don't know their names that well. I just know them as the Legion.
I was introduced to him when he was 14 or 15 years old, and they called him Sasha. And oh my God, he was good. But the one that stood out for me was Mishka. Jesus, super fast, super smooth, super accurate. It was just, I'm watching, I'm like, holy shit. I'm glad I'm not having to play this fool anymore. But you want to know what's really funny is those CFP practices, Russians would be there all the time. I managed to talk my way into their practices, and I got to run a few points with them. The coaches didn't want anything to do with it because once they found out I could play, they didn't really have a problem with it. It was just getting my foot in the door. And because the Russian dudes, they had no idea I could play. They knew me as the referee and knew I could referee my ass off. But, as far as playing, come on, dude, there's two different things.
Right.
No, I can play this game, and I've been playing a long, long time. And, it's funny. I play nowadays. I go to the local field now. I bring I bring a butt or sniper. I'm playing pump gun. I got like 50 rounds on me. I don't go out there to influence games. I don't go out there to win games. I go out there to shoot my gun and giggle. Right. That's all I'm going to do. But I'll be looking, and I'm looking at these people I'm playing with, and they're young, real young. So I'm like, hey, what year were you born? The guy's like, 2003.
I got
Well,
slider pants older than you.
no, the gun that I'm using, I'm like, this thing's from 96. The body's from 96, the frame's from 98. It's the hopper that I use is an Indian Springs hopper, which is from the late 80s.
Oh, I know.
It's like my gear is older than the people that I'm playing with. And towards the end of my career and playing tournaments, I was starting to play with some of the guys I used to play with, kids. I'm playing with the damn kids. It's like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yep. I've actually got 3 sniper 2s. Well, I have 2 sniper 2s and 1 sniper 1.5. The one that had the wood stock, the wood Tommy gun stock, and the ribbed barrel before it was actually known as the sniper 2. Do you remember those?
Yeah, they were the bigger, blockier ones.
Yeah. I got one of those. And then, but it wasn't the sniper ones, which everybody is like crying for. And then actually you were looking at the guns on my wall, but you didn't see these on the table. So that's the War Game Products Ranger.
And then the other one was a Bushmaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
My Bushmaster does not have the removable barrel.
Nice. Well, not nice, but you know what I mean.
Well, the nice thing is Todd Adamson and Mike Fox a couple of years ago, they made a stab at, I don't know, maybe it might be more than a couple of years ago, but they made a stab at making paint and they called it Rage Paint. They were making it 688. It was sticking in the barrel of the line SI. I was so happy. Like, you guys got to keep making this. Of course, anything that I like's not going to last for long.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
But yeah, oh man, it was some good paint too.
So there was a paint a few years ago that was 688.
Yeah, it was called Rage, and it was made by ex-Team Rage players. I don't know what happened along the line. I know they started it, and I got to shoot a little bit of it, and I loved it, and then it disappeared. I don't know what happened. I never stay in the loop very much anymore.
Right. I get it. So that's awesome. So I got a question here from Kevin Camacho, who's watching on YouTube. And he said, Boogie, top 3 back guy pairings in 10-man pre-X-Ball.
Oh, the 3 back guys before X-Ball?
Yeah. So what's your favorite top back player
of course,
pairings?
I've got to put out a shout to my lockout boys. Joe Marshall, Wally Donner. God damn it, who was the other corner guy? I forget who our other corner guys, but the lockout guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, Todd from Minnesota. Gosh, I can't remember. Fellas out there, he used to play for the All-Americans too. Todd Hugo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Joe Marshall, Wally Donner, and Todd Hugo. Holy crap! I was playing up front in front of those guys. What a joy! I mean, and this was back in Cocker days,
right?
They were all. It's funnier than shit. When I ended up on lockout because of the fact that in the previous tournament in the Atlanta Open, I was wrecking havoc in the 5-man, and they were staging right next to the field. Now, the year before, I had practiced with him a couple of games and gave him a couple pointers on the World Cup fields because I knew those things like the back of my hand. I knew right where to go, where all the spots and everything. And so they saw me playing, and I was playing with a buddy of mine's Automag. And I was, just wrecking house with the thing. Well, they come up to me after the tournament and asked me what I was doing for World Cup. Well, actually, Ethan Steiner, I think Steiner was his last name, come up to me and said, hey, I'm with Lockout, and we'd like you to play for us at Cup. You practiced with us last year. We'd like you to play for us. I'm like, okay, I ain't got nothing better to do. So they told me when to show up was the Friday, the weekend before the tournament.
Right.
So I pull up to the Days and Suites, which is the celebration in there that I was telling you about, because the field was right behind Old Town then. So we were staying at the Days Suites. And I pull up and I see Ethan, and he's in there checking in, getting the rooms and stuff. And I see a whole bunch of dudes hanging out outside. I'm like, well, I see Ethan. I don't know who these guys are. And my truck's sitting there. We start talking. And they're going, yeah, man, who you playing for? I go, this team called Lockout from New York. And they looked at me real funny. They go, that's us. I go, really? Well, throw your shit in the back of the truck. Ethan's getting the keys. And that's the way it started. And we went on a ride for that weekend. We played Saturday and Sunday on the fields. I showed him showed him everything I knew about all the fields and how to play the palmetto bushes. Because palmetto bushes, what you do is you lay down on the ground, and a palmetto bush grows up in a V. So down at the ground, you can see through them a little further than if you're up trying to see through the vegetation. It's too thick.
Right.
But if you get down low, you get glimpses of feet and movement and color moving in front of you so that you don't get surprised in that shit. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was, those guys were nuts. I showed up, and three of them was Dan and Luke were brothers. And those two and Ethan and we stayed in one room. So in the Days Inn Suites, up front is one of those Murphy beds that folds out, a couch. Then there's a little kitchen in the bathroom. And then behind that, there's 2 queen-sized beds in a back bedroom. Well, we come back, and I look at, in the back garden. I go, I'll take that one, like, cool. And the one next to me, they all walk in, and they lay their cockers down on the bed. I'm like, okay, whatever. We go to bed. I'm sleeping. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I get up to take a piss. Those guns are still laying on the bed. I go out front. And Ethan's in the Murphy bed. Dan is curled up on top of the AC unit, and Luke is kind of laying half off the couch and on the floor. Like, wait, somebody
why sleeping on an AC unit? I mean, I can understand.
He was curled up like a cat on top of an AC unit. I have no idea. I didn't ask questions. They stayed like this for the whole week. Those guns laid on that bed, and the only time they came off is when we played. That was their spot, was that bed. It was amazing.
I don't doubt you, because I've seen some really, really, really strange crap, but curling up on the top of an AC unit. Like, I mean, wow.
yeah, it was nuts. Absolutely nuts. But they were so great. We won that tournament. I mean, it was an unreal feeling. I mean, I was playing in front of 400 or 500 people on the tape line. And in the final game against Nemesis, a team that I played for, right, and I'm now playing against them, Ronnie Howe, God rest his soul. What a beautiful man he was. And then a whole bunch of my buddies, Jimmy Sarvina, who played for Strange, was playing on that team also. And do you know what a sub is on a hyperball field? What they call the sub? The big lay down pipe with a little pipe in the middle, or sometimes they call it a crack pipe.
Yep.
Anyways, that was sitting on the 50. Well, when I went dashing up to the 50 from my laydown, what had happened is we could hear Ronnie talking, and they wanted to kill me out of the 40 on the tape line on a laydown. So they got ready. Here they came. Here comes Jimmy, and Ronnie's running up to join him. Well, Todd Hugo leans out, hits Jimmy and Ronnie in the same burst. Kills both. Bam, bam. They're gone. Now it's my turn to jump up to the 50. I go running up there, and the guy in the middle of the field we didn't know about shot me 3 times underneath the arm. Boom, boom, boom. I go sliding in. Bob Long comes running up. And he goes, you are the luckiest son of a bitch I ever seen. All 3 of them had bounced off my side. It was unbelievable. I pop up. I shoot him. I go to look down the tape line, and I get center punched right in the forehead. But I had one of those boonie caps with the foam.
The bounce caps?
Bounce cap. Hit that bounced right off. I lean back in. I look at all the people on the sideline. And I go, I'm invincible. By this time, I'm exhausted. I'm out of gas. Todd Hugo runs up to join me. I go, Todd, I'm going to run down the field. The back corner is going to come out and roast me, and the dude on the inside is going to roast me. Shoot these fuckers. I get up. I run. Bam, bam. Shoots both of those dudes. We win the game.
We need to make you a T-shirt that just says "I'm invincible." With we need to get you your own shirt, dude.
Right on. I hate to say it, but I've got to take another quick break. I'll be back
All
in
right. Well,
45
listen.
seconds.
Actually, before I let you go, why don't we call it here? But I
Okay.
think I need to get you on another show.
Okay. Well, just let me know when you want me to come back. I'm happy to sit here and babble all night long.
Well, we're gonna probably, with the way I'm enjoying this, we may be doing this once a month. Who knows?
Okay.
All right, Boogie. You have
Well,
a great night. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'm
right
gonna
on.
shut this podcast down at this point.
Right on. Well, everybody have a great evening. It was an honor and a pleasure to do this.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to have you on again. We gotta get you a camera.
All right, brother.
It works.
Okay. I'll see you.
All
Bye-bye.
right, later, dude. Bye. All right, guys, that is my show for tonight. Normally, I'd let it run a little bit earlier, or I'd read. That's all, folks. Aren't you glad I'm back? Don't you miss my stuttering? Anyway, I'm gonna call it tonight. I got an early morning tomorrow, and I got a couple things that have just popped up that I gotta take care of. So I'm gonna call the show tonight. But I'm having so much fun. I think I gotta get Boogie back on. So I hope you all enjoyed the show. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Keep your paint dry, and as always, play with passion, everybody. Ciao.